Welcome back to the program. We're taking you back to South Africa, where President Jacob Zuma has faced Parliament today to defend accusations that the wealthy and controversial Gupta family has been making political decisions on his behalf. Our correspondent in South Africa, Betty Dibia, joins us live on the program to tell us more about this. Betty, thank you so much for joining us once again.
Thanks again, Tope.
Now, President Zuma faced Parliament today and he denied the accusation, telling Parliament that he's responsible for picking all of his ministers. How did the opposition receive this?
Of course, given the whole scenario, a lot of other things added to, what happened today or what has been happening in the past few days. Don't corroborate what the president says, his own stance. But as he said, why are you linking him? If you say someone else offered you the position, why are you ask those people? So I guess the way the questions were put to him gave him the loophole to pull out of anything. I'm not saying he's guilty or innocent, but there's so many things that have happened. For example, 2 years ago, a wedding party that took place here in South Africa from India, I think, came in the name of the Guptas and landed at the Waterkloof Air Force Base, which is a national key point. Heads of government, heads of state are received in that place. And for civilian use, it's very strict. It's almost a no-no, except it's a very, very special occasion. So the private jet landed there. We still haven't had answers as to who actually authorized that. But these are some of the things, that add to the so-called sins of the Gupta family, who are about 3 siblings, I guess, from the same family. They own businesses here. They own media houses, and they're business associates of the president's son, Duduzane. So many of these things, and not one minister, not two government officials have come out to mention their names. But the president still maintains that they didn't bite, of course. You saw the leader of the DA who insisted that the president had something to answer, and when it got too rowdy, the Speaker of the Parliament asked him to leave. And as he was leaving, the other members of the DA, the opposition party, left as well. So
now, Betty, let me just come in here. It's true, like the president said, he said they shouldn't ask him if the Gupta family offered the deputy finance minister position. They should be asking the Gupta family. What is that family saying about this crisis?
Of course, they've denied it. They've asked everybody to bring proof. Really, if you have to bring the case, you have to bring proof. So there's a case that has been opened, a case of corruption against the family, and I think the president's son, who is their business associate, brought to the police station by the Democratic Alliance. That's the major opposition party. Maybe if that case goes to court, we'll have to see the proof or hear about the proof. So the family has denied it. They're very influential business people who are of Indian descent, and I think they came here over 20 years ago. So we're waiting to see how that unfolds. But there's still so many questions unanswered. But the worry of the people basically is what they call state capture, a stranglehold on the government, the decision makers, or the presidency by a private or a corporate body or a corporate group.
Well, Betty Dibia, thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa. We're taking you to North Africa now. Ganiel in South Sudan, one of the places that was inaccessible to humanitarian agencies at a time last year, has started to receive vegetable oil and other food supplies through airdrops by the World Food Programme. Recently, WFP has been able to provide food and nutrition assistance to more than 90,000 people in Ganiel. Most of them fled from fighting in other parts of Southern Unity. It is estimated that 2.8 million people, nearly 25% of the country's population, remain in urgent need of food assistance between January and March, which is the period just before the rain season starts.
Any one time we have about 10 to 15 of our field teams out in the field doing mobile operations in areas, including in these areas in Unity where there has been concern that certain people are facing catastrophic food insecurity conditions. And we're really managing to get the mobile teams into those places at the moment. And if we can sustain and increase this access, there's every chance that we'll be able to prevent a famine in South Sudan as the lean season approaches.
Over in Malawi, unmanned aerial vehicles are being used to try and cut down on the time it takes to test for HIV in infants living in rural areas. Screening of HIV in babies requires special laboratory tests. The research, which has been run by the UN Agency for Children, is using simulated samples for now.
The first successful test flight recently completed, a 10-kilometer route traveling from a community health center to the Kamuzu Central Hospital Laboratory and the capital, Lilongwe. UAVs have been used in the past for surveillance and assessments of disasters, but this is the first known use of the technology on the continent for improvement of HIV services. UNICEF partnered with US-based drone company Martinet to develop the program.
There are many delays in the continuum of getting HIV-positive children on treatment. They need to come in early for testing, ideally before 2 months, between 6 and 8 weeks. Their tests, the dried blood spots, need to get from the health facilities to one of the 8 laboratories nationwide.
Agnes, a mother who tested positive for HIV, is on the way to the community health center to get her baby tested. While progress has been made, today 90% of pregnant women know their HIV status. There's still a drop-off with testing and treating babies and children. Agnes says she hopes the test results will turn out negative for HIV.
I don't know whether my child got the disease from me or if he's okay, so the waiting is painful.
Malawi has a national HIV prevalence rate of 10%, still one of the highest in the world. Many mothers living in remote areas are not able to access a health facility for testing because of poor roads and lack of transport. Currently, it can take almost 2 months to get samples from a healthcare facility to an equipped laboratory and for the results to be returned.
The results, once they're available, then need to be brought back to the health facility and communicated to the mother. And while many efforts have been made to shorten each leg of that continuum, we need to do better. Mothers are still waiting up to 2 months for those test results, and that can be a very long period in an HIV-positive infant's life.
In 2014, about 40,000 children in Malawi were born to HIV-positive mothers. That's according to UNICEF. Every year, around 10,000 children die of the virus, a number the agency says could be tackled with early diagnosis and quality medical.
As we end Network Africa today, here's our question of the day. What is your view on the legislature's decision to throw out the Gender Equality Bill? Tell us what you think by writing to networkafrica@channelstv.com or tweet at ChannelsTV using the hashtag Gender Equality. That's it on Network Africa. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Temitope Fagbemi.